All right, y'all, what is up? My daylight is escape. It gets so dark so early here, and it sucks when you need the natural light. So I'm over here. Forgive the light, forgive me being outside. Either way, I had to actually give my little 2 cents in on these last weekend's events with the fights. Not only did I have family stuff for Thanksgiving, I also had some drama on Saturday. So I actually saw nothing on Saturday. Watched everything late last night. So let's go ahead and talk about it real quick. Let's go ahead and get the business out of the way. There was a UFC fight night, and in the main event, we saw Anthony Smith take care of Devin Clark in the very first round. Devin Clark took him down. Anthony actually submitted him off his back via a triangle choke. It was very quick, very smooth. I don't even think he broke a sweat. So he basically maintained his position and fended off the new up-and-comer. So who would you like to see Anthony Smith fight next there in that light heavyweight division? He is ranked in the top 10. Again, he looked good, but it wasn't much of a fight because he ended it so quickly. This was the replacement main event. The main event was supposed to be Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis, which I was actually really excited for. Can't wait for them to eventually fight because Curtis Blades, of course, got COVID-19. So that's what happened with the business. Now on to Thriller. Okay, so of course I watched this. Everybody else has gotten their little 2 cents in, all of the funny, hilarious memes. The internet, of course, is undefeated. I haven't been this entertained by the internet since the whole Teddy Riley babyface debacle. This was amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my little 2 cents in as well. And we are going to start off with the co-main event because co-main event, that's exactly how I would do it anyway. I made no predictions, by the way. In the co-main event, we saw YouTuber Jake Paul taking on ex-NBA player Nate Robinson, and even I was like, is this the real Nate Robinson? And sure enough, it was. And he was not in Nate Robinson shape, even though he does do the big three. They didn't do that this year, so he actually was a little bit thicker. I guess he has been training, I guess. So the first round, I guess he's been training, but he hasn't learned any sort of defense. He might as well have been windmilling it, chasing Jake Paul around doing the windmill, might as well, reaching, grabbing, tried to tackle him at one point. And Jake Paul, who's actually been training as a boxer, he's had a professional fight before and that he did win, so now he's 2-0. I guess they're counting this. Are they counting this, or is he just 1-0? Like, let's just be honest. But we know that Jake Paul actually has legitimate coaches. Not only that, he's about 6'1", he walks around 200 pounds, but in this fight I heard that he weighed in at 189. So he was quite a bit bigger than Nate Robinson. So even if Nate Robinson was an actual fighter, these two probably would never fight. Also, Jake Paul and his brother were Division I wrestlers. So they are athletes themselves. I'm just saying that to say they are actually athletes themselves. Apparently, Nate Robinson called out Jake Paul. He basically brought this all on himself. So he's rolling around, chasing him around, gets caught coming in. It was kind of in the back. It was like around the almost back of the head region. But again, he was coming in, so used his own body weight against him. Then he fell, of course, had the knockdown, was able to get back up. I think it was just the one knockdown in the first round. Yes, one knockdown towards the end of the round. Nate Robinson, again, was just chasing him around like a wild animal, doing the windmill while, Nate was, as Jake was actually throwing some feints. He threw jabs to the body. He had some footworks. He had defense. He had angles because he actually does train in boxing. So second round comes, it's more of the same. He actually clips him with like a hook, drops Nate Robinson again. Nate Robinson gets back up, shakes it back off, and then it was like a 2-piece, might even have been a 3-piece that actually ended this. And Jake Paul again caught him coming in, diving in, falling in, caught him with the 2-piece and knocked him all the way out. Sleep, face first. Face bounced and then he skid. Sleep. It was hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious. And I know people were like, of course, I didn't start to laugh until he did move, which was a long time. He was out for a while, so I actually was concerned there for a minute because he was out for a long time. But then after, of course, he got up, the memes, the jokes, I couldn't help it. I cracked up. I think we all cracked up. It was funny. Nate, what were you thinking? Please don't tell me you did this whole, he was like, I'm an athlete, I play football, I can do everything. As they said, this is the hurt business. You don't play boxing. And anybody who actually was paying attention would have told you that Jake Paul was actually training. He was actually taking this seriously, that he was an actual athlete, and that he decided to make a serious decision to do this. If you've been paying attention, you would have known that. So we're not saying that Jake Paul can go in there with the WBO champion and all of that. We're not saying anything like that. We're just saying that compared to the average man, this is a training boxer. And as an average athlete who doesn't do this. So, of course, Jake won. He went on to call out Dylan Dennis and, of course, Conor McGregor. He'll never get to Conor McGregor, but I'm down for the Dylan Dennis. Y'all let me know what you think about that. I am down for the Dylan Dennis. And I actually think he might win. and that'll really be legit. So as Ariel Helwani said, I think it's time for him to graduate from the YouTube boxers to actually try to make some kind of, see what it do. I don't know, in the amateurs. I don't know how that process would go for him, seeing as how he already has such eyes on him being a YouTuber. So, but hey, I'm down for it. It was a circus. I love circus. I love entertainment, so I'm down for it now. Main event, and we saw, of course, the two vets, former champion Mike Tyson taking on 54 years old, taking on former champ Roy Jones Jr., 51 years old. And I was a kid when both of these two were in their heyday. I don't really remember Tyson. I remember more of Roy Jones Jr. because he fought longer. He was on top for about 10 years. Roy Jones Jr. wasn't, of course, in fighting shape. I thought he could have been in a little bit better shape, to be honest. I don't know what he's been going through in the last about 3 years since his last fight. Mike Tyson actually looked in great shape, especially for his age and all of that, having fought in like 15 years. I know he shed quite a bit of pounds, and you could see that there. He looked good. Again, for their age. We're not comparing them to active, younger boxers. A lot of folks are like, oh, it's like the two uncles fighting, and they didn't want to see this. And I actually thought we got the best version of what this could have possibly been. I'm in that camp with those people. I'm like, no one died, no one got seriously hurt. If they're going to keep doing this, which I do believe they are, because this event was a success, it made money, there was eyes on it. So, and Mike Tyson already said that he wants to fight again. So the 2 minutes, the little rules, I think they worked, because nobody wants to see legends get hurt like that. They both made it through. They made it, you know what I mean? So I think the rules worked. I also think that Mike Tyson told Roy Jones Jr. that he wasn't going to hit him in the face. He's like, don't worry, Roy. I ain't gonna hit you in the face, because he didn't even make an attempt to hit him in the face. And if you go back and look at the old footage of Tyson in his heyday, he's got this combination where he goes to the body and then straight up with the uppercut to the face. It's like a natural thing that he does, and he never did it, not once. So I definitely think he was like, hey, don't trip. I'm not gonna hit you in the face, but I'm gonna tear your body up though. And he did. I mean, there was some nice hard shots to the body. The fight whole basically went like this. Roy Jones Jr. was trying to make it ugly at some certain points. He was trying to tie him up a lot when he got in trouble. Roy's just hit a lot of his success was based off of his athleticism, his incredible speed, his reaction time, thing of that nature. I remember my dad actually telling me when I was a kid, he was like, Tyson is one of the more technical boxers because he was at such a disadvantage being short and having short arms. So I actually expected Tyson to be more technical in this fight, and that's actually what we saw. He fought a more technical fight. Like I said, nice combinations, nice body punches that still got some steam on him, still got some quickness. He looked good. I actually think the whole event was a success. I think it was a success, and if they want to go ahead and do it again, I'm down for it. It was a draw, and if you're going to do it again, I say don't do that. If you're going to have the little whatever judges that you had, have them put out a ruling, or have the fans vote or something. I don't know, but put out some kind of ruling. To say it was a draw when I think we all know that Tyson probably won the fight is silly. I know it's an exhibition, but we can have a friendly, sportsmanlike exhibition fight. They're not going for any of the major titles, so go ahead and give out an actual judgment. Give out a winners. That would be my only knock there, because we all know what we're going to get here. We all know what we're watching here. And the best thing about this was the commentary. Quite frankly, I was impressed with the commentary. They actually put together a pretty legit team. We had Morrow, of course, who is a lifelong commentator for boxing, MMA, and of course WWE wrestling. You had Sugar Ray Leonard, who really didn't add much to the conversation. Honestly, I think maybe he was just having fun. I think he was having fun listening to the other guys. You had Israel Adesanya, current UFC champion. He fit in quite nicely, quite frankly, with his expertise. And then you had Snoop Dogg, who, for however you feel about him, the man, he's hilarious. And when it comes to narrating fights, narrating like the animal videos he used to do with Jimmy Kimmel, he has a knack for it. He has a way with words. He has to work on pacing. There were times in the main event where I felt like he stepped on Israel Adesanya trying to give us some actual technical, whatever, on the main event in a fight like this, but learn your ins and outs. But I thought the commentary team was great, and they were probably my favorite part of the entire thing. So, all in all, I enjoyed myself, is what I'm saying, and no one got hurt. I'm down for this. It's entertainment. If it brings more eyes back to actual boxing as well, as in like, WBO, IBF, and all of that, that's even more great. And as Tyson said in the post-press conference, he was like, thanks to these YouTube boxers, we're seeing a whole new generation who never even seen boxing, knows nothing about boxing. They really only know like MMA, getting introduced to boxing through a person like Jake Paul, who coincidentally is actually taking it seriously. I think that's what, again, we need to focus on that. He's actually taking it seriously. Now, if he was bringing in all these eyes and he was just a total clown, total joke about it, then I could understand people being so upset about him being in this realm. But he's taking it seriously. He has legit coaches, and maybe he'll cross over to actual fighters instead of the YouTube boxers. I don't know. If it brings more eyes to combat sports, you know me, I love combat sports, so I'm down for it. Now, that's my commentary. Oh, they're like, Anderson Silva is a possibility for fighting Roy Jones Jr. because back in both of their heydays, they wanted to fight each other, but the UFC wouldn't let that happen, the crossover match. So Anderson Silva still wants to fight. He's actually trying to go to other organizations, trying to get a contract. So what do you think about Roy Jones Jr., Anderson Silva? Mike Tyson, again, says he wants to continue doing this. So who would you like to see him fight next as well? I can't believe I'm asking this. I can't believe I'm asking, who would you like to see Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson fight next? But give me all of your injury updates. Let me know how you do on your predictions. I know you guys were more on the ball, and you guys did do all of your predictions for the UFC and for the Thriller. So again, especially the UFC, let me know how on the injury updates, any new news, and of course on the Thriller, the spectacle, the laughs, the entertainment. Should they continue doing it? Should they not continue doing it? Just go ahead and talk to me. So follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all of that. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care. Goodbye.